Can I pop into your space there, Gutty? Sometimes I've suggested to people it's just odd times is if you put them in the dishwasher. Yeah, I'm actually, I'd have been quite happy with you using bleach.
Oh, okay.
It just shows because we're evolving different sort of things. But on YouTube, you know, the Food and Drug Administration in America, they basically say 100 to 200 parts per million is actually, although it's bleach, it's safe enough that you could actually, even if it was on food, you could.
So if it is the right amount,
that's
need
enough.
to be really careful.
Yeah, just for normal, and the main thing is that the bench is really clean.
Yeah.
And then you just spray it on a really fine mist and leave it for about 1 minute, and then basically you can dry, if you're in a rush, you can paper towel to wipe it off.
Yeah.
But must leave it for a minute. But normally it'll air dry, and it smells, it's kind of got that fresh smell of it. Sometimes I've been to some places and they don't want to use any chemicals.
Oh well, that's it.
But the thing there is just lemon juice.
Yeah.
People cut a lemon and they go over the top, but it tends to be a bit sticky.
Actually kill also.
Yeah, pH is below, it does. Anything below 3.8 on the acidity, pH scale is actually quite good for, you know, it's like a 4. You know when they do ceviche with fish, it's a kind of almost like a cooking method.
Yeah. That's how I wash my hands.
Right. Okay. So this is how I do it. Basically, first I take my watch off
Yes.
to do that, and then soap. That's fine. No problem using your sink, provided you haven't got salad in there. And then just get the temperature right. Get my hands a bit wet, and then a little bit on. And I always tell people, you know, like most people, they only wash their hands for about 5 seconds.
Yes.
But you've got to really, and because you don't need to do it every minute, but when you first start and get around, do it well. It really, yes, and then getting through like that. Oop, yeah. And then, yeah, that's all right. And then rinse really well too. Is really get all the soap right off, so you get. Because what you're doing with that, you're actually removing the dead skin cells, which is where all the bugs are. Now, right, so you use a clean every time. There's no problem.
Actually, there was telling her we use all empty towels every day.
Yeah.
And we put them to wash. It's like heaps of towels.
Have you thought of just using paper towels?
We also have them.
Because you don't need anything flash. Just like a kitchen roller towel could be. That's all you need. And it's quite handy for just mopping up spills and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, we just throw them away.
Because now when I've done this, it's like you've got to wash it now because nobody else can use it.
Yeah.
Because any germs out of my hands are on here now, and it's nice and moist.
Yeah.
And like, you know, so.
Nice for the bacteria to grow.
Right. Okay, so where should I put this
We
then?
put it in the...
Yep. Have a quick look in your fridge. Because this is kind of like, this is where the business end is, isn't it, really? So is this just milk out of a bottle?
This morning.
So it's ordinary
We
milk.
just use it this afternoon, and whatever is left, we just throw it away.
You don't got to go out of the back that you're milking, or anything.
We just use it every morning, and then we just
Yeah.
throw it away.
Yeah.
It's from the morning.
Yeah. And do you know the difference between best before day and use by days?
Yes, actually, for example, we put the dates when we open these ones.
Yeah.
Because you know that this doesn't expire in 2018, but once you open it, it doesn't last more than
2 days.
4 days.
Yeah, 4 is probably the maximum, but 2 to 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's
So
got,
that's what we
because it doesn't go sour, it goes really bad, so it's kind of quite, So it's good. It's great
That's
that
why we
you've.
put the date when we open
So,
it,
well,
so we actually
yeah.
have control of that too.
Well done you for
The cheese.
a bit of cheese, so that'll last for quite some time anyway.
Yeah, we always buy it every week. We don't buy things that last much time. Try to do the order every week.
That's really good. See that? So you can put the fridge thermometer in there.
Yeah.
So I think somebody was telling me you've got an infrared thermometer. Do you have?
We have it.
Do you want to just take a temperature while I'm?
This is the one we use.
Yeah.
I just put it inside for a few seconds, and then I check that it's 3.
Right. Okay. What?
And then I write it down here.
Yeah.
We keep a record from the date we did it,
Yeah.
and if we have to do something, if the temperature is not the right one. But we always check that it's between
Yeah.
3 and 4 or below that.
That's a great way of doing it because it's right in your face then, and then you can just take this off and you can just add it. You got a folder to keep
Exactly.
this in. Yeah. So
You can take pictures and keep the record in your pictures too.
perfect.
And that's where we keep the thermometer calibration records. That is it's quite new because we were taking records of that before.
Right. One of the
Sure.
problems with infrared ones is it's hard to calibrate them,
Yeah.
and you've got to remember is that if things are shiny, because it's measuring the rays from the heat, so if it's shiny, you won't get quite as much
Okay.
sort of information. So use something that's got like on your water. What you can do is get some black tape and measure the temperature of the black tape.
Okay.
That'll give you the really good reading of it.
Okay. Perfect.
And then I'll give you this because this you can calibrate this,
We can calibrate both.
and then you can actually cross-check it to make sure that that one's all right. I'm just going to leave that in there for a minute because we don't want to leave your door open. But everything's looking really tidy in here.
Yeah, we actually try to keep everything that is cooked.
You
on
know
the top.
what's here, and you got dates and everything. And
Exactly, and
Yep.
we try to keep everything that is cooked on the
Yep.
top, vegetables and fruits
Yep.
in a separate tray, than meat, for example. We have meat in
Yeah.
here.
do you have any
Yep.
children that have got allergies at all here?
Yes, yes,
What's
we
that?
have. This is the board where we give all the information.
Mm-hmm.
And at the moment, we have a really severe allergy with sesame. and
Right.
Cashews, but we don't have nuts in here, so
Right.
we try to not buy sesame in the center.
Yeah.
Because it's quite dangerous for heat. It's really dangerous.
Yeah.
And of course, dairy.
What probably is a good idea with these is that whilst you don't have any cashew nuts here,
Yes.
always check the products that come in. 'Cause it may contain traces of, and you basically,
Yes.
yeah.
How every time I do the order, I also check that in the labels it says it might have traces of sesame,
Yeah.
or it's made on the same,
I know.
the same line.
You got to be
that-
so cautious, yeah.
Exactly. So I always check that
Yeah.
too, just to know.
Yeah, I mean the worst case situation is if somebody's really very sensitive to a number of things, is for the parents to pack their own lunch for the children, and you can say this is
Yeah.
yours. Is this your cleaning schedule, is it?
So
Okay.
actually, this is the cleaning sheet is that one. This is for the
Okay.
cleaning and jobs for the rest of the center.
Right, so it's kind of your program
Yes,
chart.
but
yeah.
we have our own checklist.
Yeah.
That is pretty much in this board over
Okay,
here.
let's have a look
I'll
at
show
that.
you.
All right, okay.
So what we actually have is a everyday cleaning, and then a weekly task that I usually do it on Fridays because it's the time when I don't have much food left and I have to do the
Basically, in a
order.
small place like this, you clean it all down
So-
after you're finished,
exactly. So
and then you just
clean
check it
more.
up before you go, so it's not like a big kitchen where you're doing this bit here, this bit there.
Yeah,
I
no,
understand.
and I just do a cleaning inside,
Yeah.
inside the oven, on the fridge.
But I like the fact that what you've done there, you've put everything up and you can wipe it out, and you've just got a
Yeah.
checklist so
And
that, you know,
everybody can see it too.
and then you've got a little space if there's any problems or anything. That's really good. And then these other sheets over here, they're just the menus, are
That's
they?
the menu we have.
Okay.
We have monthly menu, so
Yeah.
we change every week, and we do
Yeah.
the orders.
So do you do any chicken dishes or minced dishes at all?
We do mince, we do chicken, but I don't do the whole chicken. I just cut them in little pieces
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
every time I cook them. Also because it's better for them, because
Yeah.
they are actually they don't use knives.
No.
They
So
need
it's
to
pretty
eat
cut.
little pieces.
So they're like when you say little pieces of chicken, they're
like
like
squares.
little
1
cube.
centimeter.
Yeah, okay. And how do you cook those?
I just cook them in this tray.
So this is you preheat this at all? Do you plug it in
This
or?
is an electric one.
Yeah.
And usually I just plug it there. This is the place
Okay.
where I cook. And mainly all the meat is being cooked here.
So you put it in with a sauce as well? Or is it-
Yes,
So
everything.
so do you bring it up to the boil or do you?
Yes, like from 9:30 is boiling until 11:45.
No problemo.
I make sure.
It's,
I make sure that it's
Yeah.
really cooked.
I mean that's if it's boiling, you
You
don't
know.
you don't even need to take the temperature because it's going to be 100 degrees, isn't it?
Exactly. So I
And they're
make
small
sure-
pieces, so anything that's kind of like small as that,
Yes.
you know, it's like a centimetre, the heat's going to transfer right through it, especially when it's in a liquid base.
Yes.
So that's kind of like, and that'd be the same with the mince as well. So, and you're stirring it around,
Yeah.
you could.
Mixing it.
Yeah.
And yeah, just make sure that because it's meat, it's more like higher than
Yeah.
75 degrees.
Yeah.
And because it's boiling.
Well, if
yeah,
it's
it has
boiling,
to
it's going to
set.
be 25 degrees. So you got a big buffer there. You know, so there's a big safety zone. And then is it kind of put out straight away for the kids to eat?
Yes, we just put it in the bowls
Mm-hmm.
because they're having lunch at 11. I just have the time to put everything
Right.
on the serving
Yeah.
and they just eat it.
So it's heat and
moment
eat
after.
basically. So
Yeah, we don't need to reheat anything.
so you
just
don't cool anything down, leftovers or anything like that. Okay. Oh, that's you couldn't get much safer than that, really. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's fine. Right. So you do salads at all? With
Yeah, but salads I don't eat them. I mean, we
you get-
just do the right amount and we use them all.
So do you get the salads like? Do you make them up from like a whole lettuce, or do you buy the pre-bagged ones?
No, I just made them.
Right.
I just made them from the tomatoes we have, the lettuce,
Okay.
spinach.
Yeah.
Broccoli.
So how would you clean those?
We just clean them like with hot water. I just do it every
Yeah.
day with hot water. Sometimes I use a little bit of soap, but really
Yeah.
it's just hot water.
So it's again they're kept in the fridge, brought
Yeah,
out,
from
brought
there.
whole lettuce, brought out, cut off what you want, and then basically.
Yes.
And how long would you keep a lettuce for normally?
I just do it every morning, so I just don't keep. I just keep the veggies every time I order. I just receive the veggies on Monday, and then I keep them for the week.
Yeah.
But when I do the salad, I just do it in the morning and use it.
Okay.
So I just don't keep
Yeah.
it long in the fridge.
And do you have suppliers? Do you have a list of suppliers that you have?
Yes, actually, I don't know if I have it here. We made an order with all
Yeah.
the supplies we are receiving.
Yeah.
I just made it because it's depending on the menu. But every week we order meat, we order eggs,
Yeah.
we order cheese,
So does that come here, or do you go to the supermarket?
here.
Yeah.
and then we check when every time it arrives. We check the temperature
Yeah.
because of the meat and the cheese. And
So you
we
check
have
it with your infrared.
Yes,
Yep.
yes, because you need to know how long even when they're ready, the trucks are
Yeah.
ready to bring frozen food or
Yeah.
cold
Yeah.
food. I just check anyway.
All right.
We just put it right away when we receive it. It's
Yeah.
Monday, it's 11 a.m. So when we receive it, we put it away, we check the temperature, and yeah, we have the pantry too that we organize everything.
Yeah.
Right
So you're writing that down. Have you had any problems with anything at all?
No, the only problem sometimes is that they send different brands.
Right.
When we order something and they don't have it in stock, they send a different brand.
Yeah.
And the only problem with that is that if we didn't check what is in the label.
That's exactly
Yeah,
right.
it is.
I was going to ask you that one.
Yeah.
To say, well, what do you think might be the problem if you order a different brand? Because I had a place in Nelson where it was a gluten-free place and made pizzas, pretty standard, and they got a different brand of sauce topping, and they used this, exactly the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
Regular customer came off in an ambulance, and when they checked back, they found out that there was
Yeah.
wheat products in it with gluten. So that's a perfect answer there. Well done, you. Okay. 2.8. So that must be. So that's fine. So yours was saying 3.
Yes.
So that's. And I'll leave you with this as well because. And you know how to do the
Calibration.
calibration?
What I learned from the other verified that came and checked, you just put half of ice blocks.
Yeah, crushed ice is
like crush
actually.
them
Yeah.
in a glass. And you put just a little amount of water.
Yeah,
and
just
then you just try, and of course it has to be like 0.
within 1
under-
degree.
Under like
Yeah. Most of the time, these ones, the only thing that goes wrong with them is standing on them. That doesn't help. Putting them in the dishwasher, sometimes they don't like it.
Okay.
Or if the battery just goes.
You can tell, like, how do you tell that the battery is not, I mean, besides the calibration?
You can't read it.
Okay. Of course.
So
Is it like,
that's the thing.
yeah.
The other thing is as well, I found out with these, because they're electronic, if you've got like a, you know those induction stoves?
Yes.
So is this just a straight out heat here, is it? But if you get an induction stove, it screws up the
Oh, yeah.
the reading, because all the electronics goes a bit weird. So when I first did it was boiling water, put it in a pan, and it was reading 300 degrees.
Like, how is that happening?
And then it went down to 50 degrees,
Right.
and So yeah,
Okay,
induction stove. Just be a
perfect.
bit of
Good
tip
to
there.
know.
So this stuff you've got here then, Cutty,
That is for afternoon tea.
so just a little bit of a snack there that you make up.
Yes, yes. Every day we do morning, lunch, and afternoon tea that they're gonna eat. After pie is like at 2 p.m.
Right.
Usually I just do it after they do the dishes, but this time I just
So this
said-
is these are all the same, are they? Just like a
Yes.
little scone or something.
Exactly, just strawberries and
Ooh.
some herbs, and I'm gonna do we're gonna have some cream on the side, but I'm gonna do it later because we still have
Making me feel hungry, Cutty.
We have some time. to do
Okay.
that.
Any problems with little four-legged friends at all? Because being an older place, you know, especially winter time, you might
no,
get a
we
few.
didn't have any problem in the kitchen, but there is someone that comes and check.
Yeah.
And when he check, we on the sink here we have like a trap, just
Yeah.
in case.
Yeah.
He put something to check if there were some bites.
Yeah, that's
on
always
it.
good to see if
He
they're coming.
left it for a week.
Yeah.
When he came to
Yeah.
check, nothing was there, but just
Yeah.
in case we have
Yeah.
some traps there.
Thing is, in an old place like this, especially in winter time,
Yeah.
the mice like to come in because it's a bit warmer, and so there can be, if you don't keep on top of it, there can be quite a nuisance, can't they? Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
really big issue.
Yeah.
With some visitors.
Now, I was going to ask you about the people that come to help you at times, because obviously you've got all the training that
Yeah.
plus. So imagine I'm coming in and I'm a parent, right?
Yeah.
And I'm saying, look, I really want to help. Don't know much about food,
Yeah.
but I'm really keen and eager. What would you think you would want to do to kind of like make sure that I didn't do anything wrong?
But usually we don't have many people around. We just have one person that helps us out. That she's been working with us for years already.
Right.
So she got the training from me and also from the other
Right.
chef, the cook. For us to keep record on.
Oh
every
yes,
week.
yes, these are really good, aren't they?
Yeah, and everyone needs to fill it up. If
Yeah.
you are in the kitchen, you're responsible for this.
Yeah.
So they have training, but if they don't have as much as training as I have,
Yeah.
and they have to cook one day because I'm sick,
Yeah.
they have everything that
You got to remember they don't need to do a degree in food safety.
Exactly.
You know, they can learn really well just by you telling them stuff.
Yes.
And what do you think would be the main thing I would tell somebody if they came into my kitchen before I started serving the food? What would be the first thing that you would ask?
To wash their hands.
Yes. Muy bien. Terrific.
Of course, every time I change
Yeah.
an activity,
Yeah.
if I'm cutting something, I just try to
That's
wash my
perfect.
hands every time I change.
Wonderful.
I
Yeah.
just don't forget.
Yeah. No, that's bang on, is
And
that?
yeah, pretty much this is also a record that we keep
Yeah.
and help them to remember if they did something
Yeah.
that.
Now, the other thing I usually ask about, especially with small children, is, you know, norovirus can come through, and they can get it from elsewhere, and it's more of a contagion rather than foodborne, but it can be related to food. Have you had any problems like that in this centre at all over the last year you've been here?
Not really.
No.
We didn't have any issue with
Yeah.
things.
Do you have a policy in terms of sickness?
Yes, actually, every time child is sick, we have a policy, and we also have a display for
Right.
parents to know. But if diarrhea, you cannot work.
Okay.
If for me, diarrhea, vomit, I just need to stop working.
Yeah.
This also the same for children. Like for children, if they have diarrhea or vomit, they
That'd be in
shouldn't
the.
be coming to the
Yeah,
center
yeah.
just to avoid any germs.
So do you have like a? How long they have to be after they've recovered?
At least 2 days.
2 days. Perfect. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what we have
Yeah,
in our
yeah.
policies. And of course, antibiotics also. If they are on antibiotics, it should be like at least 2 days until they can come back.
Yeah.
That's
If it's a virus, the antibiotics out. They're probably going to stop secondary infections.
Probably
But
an infection, and that's why
Yeah,
we just
yeah.
try to make sure that antibiotics are working,
Yeah.
and then they're getting better to
because
come back.
there's 3 places where noroviruses really take a hold:
Yeah.
ECEs, old folks' homes, and cruise ships. Oh, and hospitals as well
Yes.
because it's kind of like it's in a close confinement.
Yeah.
And kids are kind of like, you know, kids are like with their hands all over the place and stuff like that. So
Even when
there's
we
a lot of
try-
cross
Yeah,
contamination with kids.
exactly.
When the kids have their kai, is there any? Because you do some teaching with them, don't you?
Yes,
We call
yes.
sort of baking
Usually,
day or something.
We try, when we finish eating, we try to have zero waste because this is in bio school too, so they try to eat everything. If they did it, they put it away in a scrap bowl. But for example, for them to not touch our friend's bowl or to not take food from our friend, try to do their own food, serve their own meals, and put their own drinks.
So no sharing.
If they actually don't feel confident to do it, but we are encouraging them to be able to do it, even when they are really little. They can do many things by themselves. And also tidy up after.
Oh yeah, that's it. You get that. That's Yes. And do the children wash? Do they wash their hands before?
Yes, before we have.
So you have like a little.
We have the same soap as them, and we have the same images. So they try to copy the images every time.
That's great. That's wonderful. Yeah. And so you do that, and then when you do you have like a baking day, do you? When they do scones or something like that.
Yes, we do that too, and we have rules. If we're going to sit in the kitchen or we're going to set the tables, we need to wash our hands. We don't touch our noses. We don't touch any part of our body. We are actually cooking. We have little hats for them to use, aprons and hats. But they also use
Look at these! Aren't these fabulous?
And aprons. So they actually do that too. We are really serious about that.
I always tell people that if you've got dirty fingernails and you're making bread, your fingernails will be really clean after you've made it. But it's what happens, isn't it? You know. Ooh. All right, hey, that's really cool. That's been so. I think we've done about enough now in here because it's. I'm really impressed. I really am. I think you're doing a great. It's.
Thank you. If you want to have a look on the freezer,
we'll have a quick look in the. Just have a quick look in the freezer, and I'll just poke my nose in where the toilet facilities are. So you got different facilities for the children and for the staff.
In here, like for the children to use in the kitchen.
No, I mean toilet facility. Do you have a staff toilet?
Yes, we have the staff toilet back in here. Then the Pautuma room, which is the older children, they use this toilet here. And Napuri Puri, this is a small room. The younger children, they have a different
bit lower.
Okay.
Okay, that's cute. Let's have a quick look in that freezer then.
So this is quite more like
bits and pieces and stuff like that.
But the only thing, for example, in this tray I keep the gluten-free things. And then, for example, for the things that are also gluten-free, I put the name of the person that doesn't eat gluten and what is inside and the date. Right. Sometimes because if you just don't put what is inside and it's frozen, you never know what it is actually. It changed the shape and the color.
Yeah, that's right. And everything's wrapped in here, is it?
So we have fruits, frozen fruits in here, muffins that we keep just for their birthday. Frozen veggies, muffins there. Meat under here. Okay. Meat and beef, for example.
So you can always tell if the freezer's going really well because everything should be
like the raw.
Free and free flowing as well. Actually, the best thing to check for if your freezer's working is a bag of peas. If the bag of peas are all nice free flowing and the peas are solid, perfect. If they're all in one lump, you've got a problem. You know.
Exactly.
What I sometimes, because you've got the thermometer there, and you don't have to write it down, but just once a week, because frozen is frozen. It could be -3, it could be -30. So just once a week, just keep an eye on it, because if it's losing a bit of gas, you want to know before it actually melted things. But that's just an optional thing that you might want to look at. But I say you don't have to. But if it was starting to go wrong, right? So there's basically the main thing is to write down things if there's a problem and what you did to correct it and stop it happening again.
Yeah, and if we have some doubt, we also have this option here, which is really interesting. We always check that it's cold, but also if we have some doubts about, we push
rapid
this button,
freeze.
rapid freeze, and just to make sure that everything is...
Yeah, and it's frost free as well.
For example, if I see that someone didn't close the door properly, I just press this
button.
Look,
you won't believe what happens. I've had people and they've just gone switching all the plugs off on a night time, and then they come back the next morning and everything's melted, you know.
It could happen so just to make sure, right?
Just say, like these ones here, we're talking about your hand.
We have actually other paper towels that we use. This is just the rolls for teachers, but we have the packs of paper towels and the dispensers that we replace every day.
So you can, basically these are really fine.
For cleaning.
And all you need to do is get like a coat hanger.
Okay.
It doesn't need to be anything flash.
Exactly.
And you can use them for sort of general kitchen wipes and all sorts of things then.
So this is the disinfectant that we're actually using now.
Yeah.
That is approved also for being in
Yeah.
contact with food.
Well, it's, you know, I mean, basically that's fine, but, you know, Genola, which is the one I always used to say to people, get the one that doesn't have a scent in it because it's, you know, it helps, but it doesn't really matter. And you just look at, there's a percentage on here, it's usually around about 2 to 4%.
Yeah.
And then to make it down to 100 to 200 parts per million, you just get one of them spray bottles. You know, they're like the regular spray bottles?
Oh, yes, we have them.
Put a spoonful in.
And we also write down the amount of
Yeah.
canola and water, so everybody is able to do
Yeah,
it.
and just write on it to say, you know, but change. You have to change it every day.
Yeah, we do it every day. That is on our list too,
Yeah.
for the cleaning jobs in the center.
Yeah, but I mean, you can just use it anyway, sort of like round in areas where you get
Yes.
sort of like, you know, like molds and things building up and that. And that. So what you're doing in this area here then? Is that?
This is just for the art supplies.
All right.
Yeah, that's why it goes so.
Whoa, that's it.
Yeah,
Oh no,
this
is where we cut the chicken
Oh my
up in here.
goodness,
Yeah,
no.
I love
This
it.
is for the art supplies, and we wash them
Yeah.
here. We keep them.
No, that's fine.
Like the other supplies that we
Yeah,
have also
no.
in the bag.
No, there's no standard for food safety with the art
And
supplies.
this vinegar is just for playing for them. It's not for cooking.
Right. Okay. Right.
Where we keep all the food.
Yeah.
Just separate, for example, the cans. We don't have many because actually I buy them every week. I just keep.
Yeah.
buying.
You just buy what you need and that. Yeah.
We just keep labeling everything.
Yeah.
Dry fruits I keep
Okay.
here.
So when you get down to sort of like the last little bit,
I just, for example, I finish using everything, and then I keep the bag here.
lovely dry cupboard.
Yeah, so we just keep everything here.
Yeah.
Label. For the things that need instructions, we put instructions here.
Yeah. And everything's got lids on it and it's got
The salt.
names on.
Yeah, the salt.
Salt's on the top, isn't it?
The other side. Oh, should be the other side.
I know. You know what they call that?
Used to be, but
They call that verifier's trap.
yeah.
I can see it's salt.
Yes, but sometimes you think it is.
Well, look, tell you what, if you put it in place of its sugar, people would soon find out. I actually used to tell, when I used to go around places like this, I said, there's only one thing,
Yes.
you're not allowed to leave till I retire.
Yeah.
So that's, and the other thing I used to tell people is this, and I can't make a bigger compliment, but would I be happy if my grandchildren were here and you were making the food? No problem. So
Thank you so much.
that's good.
That's
Excellent. All right.